And welcome, folks, to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. And, folks, we got a great conversation today. We're going to discuss the violence in Chicago, over 44 people shot, 6 or 7 dead. And we're going to discuss the situation that's going on in LA with the mayor urging migrants to come against ICE and all of that. So if you ain't got nothing to do, call your friends and let them know you're listening to Let the Truth Be Told Radio. I'm your host, Pastor David. Now come on in. And welcome, folks. Thank you. Welcome, folks, to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. And, folks, first, let me give all praises to God and my Lord and Savior, Yahshua of Nazareth, for making it possible for me to be here. I want to welcome everybody to the show. Folks, the situation in Chicago has gotten worse. We got a mayor that is totally incompetent. He's a liar. He's a thief. And he's done nothing to make Chicago better. But it sounds like he got some mental problems because we had a mass shooting in River North that killed about 4 people and 18 shot. And then to finish off the 4th of July holiday, altogether, over 44 people shot and at least 6 people are dead. So the people of Chicago, not only are they in debt up to their neck with the illegals that Brandon Johnson brought in, but there is no safety in the city. Brandon Johnson got rid of shot spotters, which could have helped our police sort of head off some of the things that's happening in the city. But he stand on by getting rid of it because he doesn't care about the city of Chicago or the citizens. All he care about is getting illegal migrants here and making money off them. And in saying that, I'm going to bring in my panel today. Andre, welcome to the show.
How you doing?
Great. Doc, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys.
Listen, 44 people shot here in Chicago for the 4th of July weekend.
Wow.
There was a mass shooting in River North that took the life of 4 people at a album signing where people was coming out to celebrate an album being released, and there was a mass shooting there. But the sad thing of it is the mayor of Chicago seems to think that Chicago is a safe city. Your thoughts on that, guys?
Well, he's very delusional, as you know. He is. He's delusional because, when the young people were, tearing up the streets, he was like, oh, they're just young and inexperienced. It's like, no, bro, you have no control over your city. You've got all these illegals in here. You don't know how much you're spending on them. You don't know what your budget is. Like, some things are your job. I'm just saying. And safety is your job. As the mayor, you are actually over the police department to keep people safe. If 44 people got shot, it means there wasn't any security there. right? And there might it, to
Exactly.
me that sounds more like gang activity when it's over 10 people. There was some type of rivalry happening going on there. Your intel is off. You're just not managing your city well. That's my opinion.
Dre?
Yeah, and I think his policy for policing his city are off, just like his immigration policies. And just like Doc was saying, he's delusional. He's delusional. How do you say after 44 people are shot that you have the safest city in America? Now, if you're going to bust out some stats, if you're going to say in comparison
Right.
to last year or 10 years prior or prior to this event, we had the safest city, and then he could provide some numbers that backed up that statement,
Right.
then we could have a conversation about that. But I think we're missing it. I think it's even more important that this delusion is a pattern.
Mhm.
And people have been talking about recalling this mayor. And I believe that something like that needs to happen. And there needs to be laws in place where people can do that.
Well, to the citizens of Chicago and of the state, we have two of the worst leaders in the country ever. Brandon Johnson doesn't have a clue. He is being ran by the Democratic Party. See, that's the big problem. The
Mhm.
Democrats have lost their way because
Yeah.
they were expecting to steal another election and then
Mhm.
pile up more migrants to come into our country and try to justify it by saying that they could legally be here and not be
Mhm.
illegal. Well, they're violating federal laws, and they are not even trying to cover it up or make it seem like they're violating laws. They're just doing it out into the public. They're doing it in the face of the citizens of Chicago. They've
Right.
neglected the Black community. They've neglected the Latino community. Everything that was supposed to happen that Brandon Johnson said he was not going to do, he has done it. The crime rate that went out the roof. We are broke. He's so far in debt right now that he can't even get a good budget passed. And so this is all the Democratic cities are doing the same thing to the people of Chicago, New York, Boston. All of these cities are blue. They are trying to destroy these cities. California is in a hell of a shape when the mayor herself is coming out telling the illegals to go against ICE. So they're aiding and abetting criminals to go against the federal government. And that's something that we should not allow. But more importantly, to the American people and patriots across this country, we can see what the Democratic Party mission is. Their mission is not to make this country great. Their mission is to flood this country with the illegals like they've done, make money off of them, do nothing for the citizens in any of these states, but then act like it's the Republicans' fault for the actions that they are taking. And in saying
Right.
that, folks, I want to go ahead, Drake. I want to get a clip queued up. We're
And
going to talk about that.
absolutely. And I'm wondering if maybe Doc can remind me because maybe she came across this. But I learned that over the July break that New York did not have a single shooting for the first time in, I guess, their history on Independence Day. So if that's true, then it goes to show you what a change of heart can do in a politician, because we saw that with the with Mayor Adams, that he had very liberal views at first about immigration. But
Yeah.
when he wasn't getting the support, all that stuff changed when it was coming back on him, and he had to figure out how to foot the bill. So then he started cutting services. He started making policies that started to make sense, and I guess he's done the same with enforcement around illegal immigrant criminals and criminals in general. And being a former police officer, that just makes common sense to me.
Yeah, yeah, and that was something that he lauded when he got to speak with Tom Homan, and he also spoke with President Trump, right? Because he realized he was like, yeah, initially when I did it, I had the support, to your point. But now that I don't have the support and I see how damaging it is to the city, that's where he reverted course. So I know a lot of people are unfortunately supporting Mandani, and this will completely destroy New York if they vote him in, because he's bent on destroying the city.
Well, he's been talking about the Jews, and he's been
Mm,
doing a lot of things in the past. So this only goes to show you that the rhetoric that the Democrats do, they're not getting people in office that are trying to make these cities better. They're not.
right, right. They're not.
They're continuing to bring people in who's going to be just like Gavin Newsom out in California.
Mhm.
California is a hellhole. It has nothing.
So sad.
And the fact of the matter is the citizens in that state should be trying to get him out of there as soon as possible. Just like right here in Chicago.
Right.
What Brandon Johnson did to Chicago was it's horrible, because he gained the trust of the Black community because he played the race card.
Yeah.
And now what I don't understand is like it's something psychologically wrong with you, Brandon Johnson, outside being a damn idiot. You got Barack Obama and all the rest of them coaching you, trying to tell you how to handle the city. That's where this is coming from. This is coming from Obama, JB, Gabe Pritzker, all of the Democrats who have been destroying the city, and basically they've been stealing money. That's what the big thing is. They made money off the migrants. They used companies from other places out of Canada to build stuff, security. All of this have been a kickback for them. But now the people of Chicago have awakened, the people in New York, New Jersey, even some of the people out in LA, they've awakened to see that it's the Democratic Party that is trying to destroy America. They're not trying to make this country great. They're trying to destroy it so that they can continue to destroy it and continue their one world order. Let's play this about Brandon. Let me get this up. I want your thoughts on this, guys.
Us today, it's always a great pleasure of mine to be able to present to the people of Chicago what we've been up to and the work that we have done collectively to build the safest, most affordable big city in America.
Unfortunately, more violence in the city. So far, at least 40 people have been shot and 6 killed across Chicago this 4th of July weekend.
We wanted to give you all an update on the progress that we are making and building on, again, the safest, most affordable big city in America. Some of you may have seen this article that was printed in the Tribe. It exposed the groups that are sending out misinformation about crime, and they're sending this misinformation out to Chicagoans.
Hold up, y'all. I have to stop that right there. He's talking about some group sending out misinformation about crime. And
Who's this group?
Tribe, I've never heard of them before, but he is sitting here actually telling the people of Chicago what you've seen with the mass shooting and the killings over the 4th of July holiday. Don't believe that. That's just the mind trick, or that's just something that is just not true. And yet here he is in our face saying how safe the city is. Your thoughts on that, Dre?
Well, he lost me at affordable, because that's delusional in itself. Like, we saw them spend all this money on illegal immigrants, flip their budget upside down, and then go to the people and say, hey, remember we promised we weren't going to tax you anymore? We'll throw that out of the window. So, like, he lost me at affordable. So, like, nothing he said here is making sense. And I wonder, this is a question for me to you, Pastor Lowery, did he ever explain why he got rid of the shot spotter?
No, he did not. He said that he was making cuts for the budget. He said that these things did not to be in place because they wasn't working. And soon as he removed shot spotters, 2 police officers was killed right after that. And they didn't even want him to come to the funeral. They told him, stay the hell away. And so this guy is a liar. He's a thief, and he doesn't have a clue on what it is to be a mayor of a big city. I just think that he's totally delusional now. Your thoughts, Doc?
Well, he's gaslighting. I mean, this is, if there was a definition of gaslighting, you could put this video right next to it, because that is exactly what he's doing. And he's making everybody else seem like they're the crazy ones and he's the rational one. I mean, they're totally living 1984. This is what George Orwell talked about doing. You know, if you can make people believe something, you will continue to say it until they believe that it's true, right? 2 plus 2 does not equal 5. It just doesn't. But that is what the Democratic Party is doing. And because that's all they have. They really no longer have rationale. They have to make people believe that irrationality is real.
Well,
And one thing with the shot spotter that you can't put a price tag on is that when there's a crime, there could be multiple people that see that crime and they won't report it because they're like, well, I think someone else is going to report it. So for ShotSpotter to put out that information, it not only keeps people safe by putting information out there, but it takes initiative for someone to report it so people could get help and there could be less deaths as a result.
Let's listen to a little bit more of this clown.
Okay.
The Urban Center PAC has been sending these messages to confuse Chicagoans, particularly in the 12th, 26th, 30th, 33rd, and 35th wards. The texts claim that violence is rising in Chicago. However, when the organization was pressed on this, they agreed that the quote more is accurate, that crime is actually down in Chicago.
Some neighborhood residents walked the track at Avalon Park, unaware just hours earlier gun violence claimed the life of a teenage girl while wounding a man there.
I'm always shocked at the things that's happening in this area, but again, I'm getting used to it at the same time, but it is heartbreaking.
Just before 11 p.m. Friday night, investigators say gunfire erupted in the park located in the 1200 block of East 83rd Street on the city's south side. Police say 16-year-old Mia Smith died of a bullet wound to the throat, while a 35-year-old man was hit in the leg after an attacker approached them on foot and opened fire. In the hours to follow, there would be 2 new mass shootings.
Now look, we're all adults in this room. At some point, I've proven for the last couple of years I can make difficult decisions. I'm just saying that the way decisions were made prior to me arriving have always been about reduction and eliminating, and that has proven to be wrong. Now look, if you look after what we've done for the first 2 years in office, there's a reason why violence is going down in the city of Chicago, is because we're doing the things that work. I promised a safe, affordable city. There's a lot more work to be done, but that includes creating more spaces in neighborhoods where people can go and hang out and feel safe.
Let me say this.
He is crazy.
Your thoughts, Doc. Go ahead. Tell me what you think.
Like, bro, people are walking in the park because they don't think anything happened, and something had happened literally less than 24 hours prior. Had they known that, they probably wouldn't be walking in the park. And see, the thing about it is, here's the thing: who committed the crime? Because see, they don't document it when it's not a citizen. Mm-hmm. If it is a non-citizen, they do not document those crimes. That's why they can say, oh yeah, crime is lower. Yeah, because your citizens aren't committing crimes, but people that are here illegally are.
Yes.
And that's the problem.
Dre?
That's perfect what you just said there, Doc. And to continue on with that thought, look at the difference night and day between all that trash that was there, and then the next day it's all cleaned up, no crime scene or anything. People are walking around unaware, unbeknownst to themselves that something went down there at all. And my other question is, who is he afraid of receiving this misinformation? Are those the black neighborhoods that he's feeling are maybe slipping away from him? Or is it the white neighborhoods, which are gentrifying different neighborhoods? And if they leave and black people are leaving, then Chicago's just in trouble. Like which communities are the 33rd to 66th ward?
All of them, all the black communities are subject to violence at any time under this leadership and under this mayor. But the most phenomenal thing is, you used to never, I grew up in Chicago, you never heard about any shootings on the north side or River North. That's way out in one of the suburbs of Chicago. And now under his leadership, crime has just soared, not only in Chicago, but it's in the Gold Coast down on Michigan Avenue where he's allowing Black Lives Matters and children to destroy the businesses. Now it's spreading across the city of Chicago like a cancer. And he keeps talking about how safe the city is. That's totally ridiculous. And to the people of Chicago and to the state of Illinois, now that we can see exactly who Brandon Johnson is and who J.B. Pritzker is, they don't give a crap about the citizens of this state or the city of Chicago. All they care about is the illegals that they've spent billions of dollars to bring here to create a voting base for the Democrats. And if the people of this state don't see that, and the citizens of Chicago don't see that what Brandon Johnson and the Democratic Party is doing, then Chicago is going to be one hellhole of a place for me to become the mayor and fix. I can tell you right now, it's going to be a whole totally different change. But I can say this, if the citizens don't stand up right now and stop Brandon Johnson, if we don't get him out of there, then this city is surely going to be sacked by the illegals, just like what's happening in California. I want to play a little bit more of this.
The first within the city's back of the yards neighborhood, leaving 7 people wounded. It happened near 48th and Justine just after 11 o'clock. That's when witnesses say 2 gunmen walked up to a crowd and started shooting. The 4 women injured range in age from 21 to 27 years old and were seriously or critically hurt, along with a 21-year-old and a 29-year-old man. A 42-year-old man also remains hospitalized.
Mayor Johnson, your name has become a cautionary tale and a punchline nationally. People are saying that if Zohran Mamdani is elected mayor of New York, that New York will become like Johnson's Chicago.
Which is what one of the safest, most affordable big cities in America.
Another attack on the group happened near the Cook County Criminal Courts building. Investigators say 4 men were sitting in a car near 27th in California when another vehicle pulled up and someone inside started shooting. The men, who range in age from 25 to 33 years old, each suffered multiple gunshot wounds. Street pastor and anti-violence activist Dr. Donovan Price says he's concerned about what feels like an uptick in gun violence.
Sometimes it's about plain evil, and as long as people have guns, they're going to use them whenever they get angry. It's a tool of convenience, of angry convenience.
ABC 7 is tracking holiday weekend shootings from the morning of Thursday, July 3rd at midnight to the evening of Sunday, July 6th at 11:59 p.m. At least 44 people have been shot, resulting in 6 homicides, a concern to some Chicagoans fearful about their safety.
I have 2 sons, and I'm very concerned about them. I have 2 brothers, one that was murdered and one that was shot, so it's affected me personally.
Police continue to investigate, but so far, no one is in custody and no arrests have been made.
So
Okay,
again,
I'm upset with ABC because what all those people in the background that were shot were illegals. Guarantee you they're from Venezuela. There were no black people there. That was all gang retaliation and all their nonsense. Okay. This is why they're not allowed to go into Mexico. All right. They're not even allowed to be anywhere near Aruba, Curacao, or Bonaire. But you're going to use this black woman story as if it's black people. You're going to use this black pastor as if it's black. This has nothing to do with us. Nothing.
Dre, go ahead.
It's all about these illegals you brought over here for this nonsense, because this is what the media does. Whenever you do not hear a demographic, an ethnic demographic of anybody, it's typically going to be somebody here illegally. Okay. Because they'll do black and white all the time to stir and invoke emotions. If there's a black and white thing, Lord, we'd be protesting in the streets right now. But they can't do that anymore. But they want to use that black woman and her background story, and they also want to use that street pastor. Oh, that was all a setup. Them people weren't just walking in the park. They knew who they were, and they interviewed them like they were just random people. I can't stand ABC. They're the biggest propagandists on the planet. I'll let you know.
I 100% agree with Dr.
Doc on fire.
She is on fire. And the thing that I noticed in that video is that when people were saying that Brandon Johnson would be considered as a meme or an example as a city where you had no control, the first thing that he went to was his talking point. instead of going to your data, instead of going to
Mhm.
justify with fact and reason why your city shouldn't be considered as that. He went on the defensive right away, and that really shows a sign of weakness, and
Yeah.
that he's trying to cover up his fecklessness as a mayor.
Yeah.
Well, I wanna talk about Pastor Donovan Price. See, this is the problem that I have with these Negro preachers. He has not come out. They have not said a word about the illegal migrants who have invaded our city. See, these are the kind of pastors that I don't get along with, these kind of pastors, because they're not speaking for our community. He's being used to make Black people think that, oh, well, Pastor Donovan Price. Pastor Donovan Price has never done anything for the city of Chicago but take money. He doesn't have a voice with anybody in the neighborhoods. This is just a nigga getting on the television trying to act like that everything is okay. And listen, Chicago, to the people of Chicago, if we don't stand up, if we don't take our city back, if we don't get rid of this Negro in office who doesn't have a clue on how to run the city, but he knows how to be deceptive, you would go find a preacher like Donovan who you done gave some money to. See, all of these pastors take money from Brandon Johnson. I already know that. They take money from him. Even some of the activists take money from Brandon Johnson to act like that they with MAGA or the Republicans. They are not. These people are getting paid to make these comments, and the city of Chicago is left defenseless. We don't have control over nothing. Our tax dollars are going to illegals, and then they're steady paying people off to make it seem like, well, you know, how safe is Chicago? To the citizens of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot was the worst mayor as far as crime. Every weekend, Lori Lightfoot had 60 to 70 people shot. Every weekend. Some weekends, there was over 100 people shot, 20 and 30 people dead. And so now we got this idiot in office, and he's probably worse than Lori Lightfoot because he let all the illegals in, and now that the illegals are killing citizens of Chicago, because just like you said, Doc, if that was a Black man or a Black shooter, they would have had it all over the place.
Or a white one.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But these are illegals that are committing the crimes. Crime is down in the city because Black people, Black brothers ain't killing each other no more.
No.
That's what the problem is. You ain't talking about the GDs and the BDs and the Vice Lord. We have gotten smart enough to understand that we cannot fight each other because that's how they justify getting public safety money.
Yeah.
But with the illegals, they automatically just took money and got rid of all the things that could protect us, like shot spotters. This is totally ridiculous. These Negroes like Donovan Price need to sit down somewhere. And how are you going to be a pastor when your main concern should be the welfare of the citizens of Chicago, not the citizens who were brought here illegally? And he hasn't said one word about none of that, guys. So this is
because he took the blood money.
Yes.
He took the money. That's why you
NGO
don't
money.
hear from him. He took the money.
Yep. And you don't hear about a lot of the pastors. A lot of the pastors ain't saying nothing like I'm saying it because I don't take money. I don't need money. God blessed me to have my own money. You see, when you self-sufficient, you don't have to kiss nobody's ass. And that's what most of the pastors in Chicago is doing, getting money, the Sanders, all the rest of the pastors out here, the Braziers. Y'all know who y'all are. Y'all sold the city out. Y'all taking blood money, and now our people are dying in the streets, and the illegals are committing crimes. But this fool up here talking about how safe the city of Chicago is. Y'all can respond on that.
Well, I'm wondering where the checks and balances are, because like whenever we're talking about crime, wherever we're talking about immigration, wherever we're talking about everything, everything is going through the mouth of Brandon Johnson. Where's his secretary? Where's his comptroller? Where's his chief of police? Where are his people? Why is he coming up and saying everything? Is it because he knows that the people are not going to say what he wants them to say? Like,
Yes.
why doesn't he trust the rest of his team? And to Chicago, we have to make better. Sorry, not me. I'm not in Chicago, but we as a people, as a country, as
unit.
voter bases,
Yes.
we need to make better elected official decisions. We've seen what elected officials that go far to the left or far to the right can do when they have extreme views. And what's happening is we're getting all these laws, we're getting all these perceptions that, oh yeah, I'm going to do something different than the last person that was just like me. But that doesn't happen. What's happening is they're getting in, getting the win, and then doing whatever they want. And we have to get people that are outside of the political machine. We have to work on winning elections. And if we're not winning elections and we're allowing these people to come in and use their machine to do the same thing, then we're going to be talking about the same thing 5 years from now.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you,
But
go ahead,
I
Doc.
mean, Brandon Johnson, he was selected. He wasn't elected.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that's what's happening with a lot of these mayors. But here's the deal. It's starting to show. And people are starting to realize, okay, we didn't vote for this.
Right.
But you're force feeding it to us and you're forcing us to accept it. And it's something I was telling my husband the other day. I was like, people aren't accepting the programming. I don't know if you guys ever watched The Matrix, but
Yes.
people are
Yeah.
rejecting the programming.
Yes.
Okay, that's where we're at right now.
Absolutely.
People are rejecting the program. They don't like it. Being overweight and sloppy and gross is that. It's that. A mayor not taking care of his city, it's that. You can no longer force feed people this program that doing evil is okay. People are not accepting the program. That's what I'm saying.
Well, to Chicagoans and people of the citizens of this state, I don't know how you could come and during voting time, especially Black citizens. I don't know how any Black person could vote for the Democratic Party when we clearly see that all the major cities that are blue, they are trying to eliminate the Black community. That's what this was all about. It never was about trying to help somebody seek asylum, to come to America, to get a better way of life. It was about the Democratic Party, who felt that they were so brazen now that they've got Black people under control, that Black people would literally sit back and keep voting for them, even though they have done what they have done. To the American people and patriots across this country, now that listen, the dress is up on America. The dress is up on a Democratic Party. And we know now it ain't no woman, it's a man. And that's what the problem is. All this deception, all the lies, everything that has happened. I can't see how any citizen in any of these cities could vote for the Democrats when we clearly see it's the Democratic Party that's destroying these cities. It's been the Democratic leadership that continue to bring illegals in. It's the Democratic Party who continue to take taxpayer dollars and use them to house and aid criminals.
I know, but see, though, that's who they're allowing to vote.
Yes.
See, what you're saying is, yeah, Black people aren't voting for them, but the people that they are supporting are, who are criminals, who are the illegals, who should not be able to vote in our municipalities, right, at the local level, but they're allowing them to vote. That's the issue. I mean, the criminality, I mean, it reeks. And we can start with the Democratic Party. We can also go on to the Republican Party and even the rhinos, right?
Yep.
Republican in name only. But it starts at the local level where they are allowing this, because that's where the money is, because that's where the money ends up. It starts in Washington, but it ends up at our doorstep with our mayors and councilmen and commissioners and aldermen. And those are the people we need to hold responsible. But then again, those are the people that the criminals are voting for. Those are the people that they're putting in position. These people are selected. They're not elected. And we have to be in positions, be on the election board, count the elections.
Yes.
We need to be in these seats where nobody's really running, and they've gotten people lazy and gotten people to believe that they don't have any power. That is really the crust of this.
Well, you know, before the general election when Trump got in, during the midterms, we was contracted by the Heritage Foundation to go out and do poll watching to make sure that the polls were being ran properly. And when President Trump said that the election was stolen, a lot of people hated Trump so bad that they was like, oh no, he's lying. The election process is great. There's nothing right about the election process. They've been stealing elections in Chicago ever since the old Mayor Daley time. It's just got to the fact where it is being done so blatantly. It's being done in the citizens' face. Because when we went out and we found the thumb drives, we found the printers, we found Democratic judges posing as Republican judges. We found Republican judges laying up sleep in the 27th ward of I can't think of his name, but anyway, we found all these infractions that was there. Walter Barnett, the assistant mayor who makes $400,000 a year to be assistant mayor, and for what? They've already split Mayor Johnson's power up with the school union, and he got 12 deputy mayors. And then you gave Walter Barnett a position as an assistant mayor because he's an alderman, and through his precinct, he is washing the money. Mm-hmm. The money is going to Walter Barnett. He's washing the money. Alexis Dunilis, who is supposed to be the Secretary of the State, is doing the same thing. All of these old, re-washed up politicians who have gotten into office. See, this is all Barack Obama's doing. People don't want to say it, but Barack was running the country with Joe, and he has been putting all this stuff in place in Chicago, and look what's happening. Look at our city. It has been totally destroyed. There's nothing positive happening in Chicago. And this fool talking about how safe it is and what he did in the past 2 years. This is idiocracy, and the people of Chicago and the state should see that. And the Democratic Party should be disbanded immediately, because my thoughts is like this. Tom Homan said something that was very powerful. He said that we need to be locking up these mayors and these governors who are breaking federal law.
Yeah.
The federal law trumps everything. That's just the bottom line. And when you go against the federal law, then you're going against the federal government. Then you need to be held accountable for your actions. And I'm hoping that Tom Homan, now that we got the big beautiful bill passed and we got the money that we need in order to make our city safe again, I'm hoping that Tom them can get in here and get these illegals out of here. But more importantly, they need to file federal charges. They need to be arresting Brandon Johnson. They need to be arresting Galvin Newsom. They need to arrest J.B. Pritzker. They've already said out of their mouths that they're going to come against the federal government and hide these illegals and take taxpayer money and give it to them. What more do you need? Because once they make an arrest of them, then they're going to have to find somebody else to get that office. And that's what needs to be done, Doc.
Yeah, not only did they say that Chicago was safe, they said it was affordable. When? What? Help me. Between California and New York, Chicago was right up there with very unaffordable.
Totally unaffordable.
Absolutely. And you have to think about consequences, facts, and reality, because we're talking about the facts. We talk about how the increase of immigration can increased rent prices. We talk about how increased competition from them dumping illegals into Chicago is conflicting with a lot of Black Americans getting jobs. But when we say that, people are just like, well, where are the numbers that back that up? Well, over the weekend, Mexico is having all kinds of protests because they're saying that Americans and other international people are coming to Mexico and driving up their rent prices because a lot of these remote workers are coming in but making buku American dollars and then going in there and living a good life in Mexico in an apartment. But when all that money is flowing to through Mexico, what does the government do? They start catering to those people. And I was like, oh, why does this sound familiar? You know, like, you know, this is exactly what's happening here. So when people are saying, oh, where are these facts? Like, does it really happen like you're saying it is? Yes, it does. And there's consequences to the people that you put in office. There are consequences for what you're going to allow your government to do.
Yeah, they had like an Antifa style raid.
Yes.
I want to say maybe
they
a
were
week or
breaking
two
up
ago.
stuff like Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Well, they all the same. They all the
tearing
same.
up the awnings, you know, breaking the glass, and they were dressed the same. They had the sweatshirts on. They had the hooded masks.
Yep, and some
on.
of them had the costume masks on, and they were speaking in
Yes.
Spanish, and they're just like, I don't want to be identified. But
with their signs that they want the expats out, you know, because that woman made a video. She was like, you know, Janice and her husband. I was like, oh, we're calling people Janice now. Okay, so that's what we're doing with this couple.
Yeah,
Karen yelling. Okay, Janice and her husband are the ones that are the gentrifiers. Just letting you know. It's code.
Well, the thing of it is this. And that's the reason why I thank God that we have gotten this platform to where we can give good information out to the people in the cities that watch this show.
Yeah.
These major cities, New York, Chicago, California, these are all Democratic-led cities. New Jersey, they're all from the Democrats. Yeah. And the fact of the matter is this. The Democratic Party created Black Lives Matter. Barack Obama did that with the killing down there of Mike Brown in the St. Louis area, right? He the ones that pushed Black Lives Matters out in the forefront, all right? The Democratic Party created Antifa during the George Floyd riots. You got Antifa who came out, who was destroying, looting, shooting, killing, and none of them went to jail. So it's the Democratic Party to the American people and patriots across this country. Let us be 100% clear. It's the Democratic Party who created these organizations who are terrorist groups here in our country. It's the same Democratic Party who created the Ku Klux Klan that destroyed Black Wall Street. And so how can we continue to support the Democratic leadership when we see clearly that they don't have the American people interests at hand? I'm gonna give you the perfect example. I watched, what's his name, Jeffries? I watched Jeffries. Hakeem stupid Jeffries sit up and talk for 8 hours just to keep the bill from getting passed in Congress. He talked 8 hours and he wasn't talking about nothing. He wasn't talking about no solutions. He wasn't talking about making the communities better. He kept calling it a big ugly bill, but at the same time, they're the ones who let the illegals in. Dre, you want to say something? I see you.
Chomping at the bit.
I was just chomping at the bit because, like, with as you were saying, like the Democrats, or you know, the all they're doing is resisting. They don't have any solutions. Why not come to the table and collaborate? I went to Congressman Alma Adams' office while I was in New York doing a presentation at Johnson C. Smith. And what I did was I gave them our materials about immigration. I was like, look, if we really are serious about fixing the problem at the border, then someone with the profile of Alma Adams could go to the other side and be like, hey, We might not agree on everything, but let's come up with something. Let's compromise. Let's start doing business, because the resisting, the fake detainments, the pandering to voters, none of that's working. None of that's getting anything done. And here's the other thing, like, ICE just got 15 times their budget. So instead of
Mhm.
3 billion, they're getting 45 billion now. So these sanctuary cities and Mondani, who are saying, hey, we're going to resist, Mayor Bass going out there, in a crowd saying, stop, they don't have the wherewithal to know that they have resources now. They can build like a
Right.
alligator Alcatraz in your
Alcatraz, right?
backyard. They could put it
Yeah.
right outside of Mayor Bass's house and have illegals being transported there. They have money now. And what has to happen ultimately, we have to get a long-term bill, because all this money that's going through, all the facilities that are being built up can be torn down in the next administration. So HR2 is the next goal. We got the big beautiful bill, we got the money. Now we need to get the legislation to put the money in place, because one of the things that's positive about HR2 is this: they allow the they codify the fact that there has to be 22,000 Border Patrol agents, nothing less than that.
Okay.
And if we codify that and give them enforcement, if we give them technology in the same bill, if we have E-Verify in the same bill, then we're going to be rolling, and then we won't have these pendulum swings where people are upset because they don't like the detainments. They don't like the disappearing of people. They're the ones that are allowing it to happen by not going to their elected official and saying, hey, let's create a bill to deal with what ICE is doing.
Yeah, because a lot of these people that are being taken away, and they keep saying they're not disappearing anyone. These people actually have skipped their due process, meaning they actually went to court, and the court said, you need to leave our country, and they refused to leave. These are the people that are being arrested on the streets. I think there was like a video on this one where she was crying. Why are you crying?
Right.
The court told you to leave, and you decided not to leave. Nobody hears your tear. Like, we're done with this nonsense. And see, the big beautiful bill, thank you for mentioning it, Andre, it actually invests in America for jobs.
Yes.
See, the Inflation Reduction Act, yes, it did create jobs for the IRS, and we dumped $88 billion into the IRS to do what? Yeah, okay, you created jobs, but you are not a mechanism for creating businesses. You are not a mechanism for creating actual trades that will turn into jobs later on down the line. So the Inflation Reduction Act didn't help. What it was a stopgap because of COVID to put infrastructure back in place, but it ballooned out of control because everybody was working for the government. Nobody was making anything. Seriously? Now we got to spend money to make money, and people are upset about it. I'm like, look, spend my money to make money, but you need to get these illegals up out of here, because I don't want them on the dole. They got to go.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm glad you mentioned the last bill, because that bill, I was on the Bill Martinez show this morning, and he mentioned something interesting. That bill, they put in 88,000 IRS agents. In the big beautiful bill, what did they do? They invested in ICE. They invested in Border Patrol. They invested in deportation tactics. And what have we seen since January? More Americans are getting new job creation. For the last decade, it's been illegal immigrants who have been getting all the new job creation. All the new jobs have been going to, all the job growth has been going to illegal immigrants or immigrants in general.
Right.
Now, you would think this as an American citizen, and whether you're a Democrat or Republican, these politicians are getting paid out of our tax dollars.
Yes.
Their salaries, their expense account, all of that is coming out of our pocket. So it would only be right if you were a true blue-blooded American, no matter what party you would belong to, your first and foremost thing is to make sure that the American citizens are taken care of. It shouldn't matter whether you're a Democrat or Republican. Your job is to make sure that the American citizens are taken care of. And we can automatically see under the Biden administration that that is not true. They had nothing good for the American citizens. They opened the borders. They spent our taxpayer dollars hiding these people like they're hiding them now.
Yeah.
They used the energy program to as a slush fund. And now all they're doing is changing the name of a program and allocating the money to that so that they can keep teaching these illegals how to hide from ICE. What I want to do now, I want to play a clip, guys, that we found with Tom Homan talking to Laura Ingham. Y'all check this out.
Standing by, Border Czar Tom Homan's been with us. And Tom, I know you're not talking about what the president talked about, but there was so much news today. Violence on the left coming this time against Border Patrol and ICE agents over the last few days. Your reaction to what we've seen, it's inevitable in my view, but your reaction tonight to what could have been a lot worse.
I've been warning about this for 2 months. I think the last time I did your show, Laura, we talked about it. I also talked about it in the Hannity show that I've been around a long time. I said if the rhetoric didn't decrease significantly, it's going to end up with loss of life. It's going to end up with a use of force either against a protester turning criminal or against ICE or Border Patrol agent. Someone's going to be seriously injured if not killed. And of course, the media attacked me. Fear-monger Homan. He's threatening that someone's going to die. Look, I've been around a long time. You got members of Congress, Jayapal, comparing them to terrorists. AOC says we're out there violating people's civil and constitutional rights. You got Jeffries out there running his mouth about the Gestapo. And it just the ramped up rhetoric is going to cause a situation where someone loses their life. We saw that today. I was hoping I'd be wrong, but I wasn't. And I'll tell you something else. It's not the end. Unless we stop the hateful rhetoric against ICE and Border Patrol, comparing them to Nazis, there's going to be more situations like that. ICE has already stepped up enforcement posture at their facilities. Border Patrol's done the same thing. But the rhetoric has to stop. They're simply enforcing law that Congress enacted. So for Congress to attack them, to force them the laws they wrote, it's ridiculous. It's going to end in bloodshed. And I think there will be more bloodshed.
Do we know anything about the maniac who ambushed the Border Patrol agents yet, Tom?
He spent a lot of time on Call of Duty, a video game, and one of the people that's in that game is an anarchist. He was playing the anarchist. What he had spray paint on his paint on his car was associated with that. So this is a plan he had. His plan was to kill Border Patrol agents.
All right.
Wow.
Tom, I'm sorry you had to wait, but it was for the president. It was still great to see you tonight. Thank you for that update. Our prayers are always with law enforcement and the great people of Texas tonight.
Hey, Sean.
Guys, your thought on that? See, that's what I was talking about. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. The Democratic mayors and these governors are causing this problem because they're telling these illegals to start killing and shooting Border Patrol people. Yeah. They're creating this situation, and yet it's like throwing a rock and hiding your hand. We can see clearly that these Democratic leaders in these different cities are telling these illegals, it's okay, just go ahead. You can kill one of them, it don't matter because they're going to keep you out of the country. This is the problem. And the American people and patriots across this country should automatically first see what the problem is, and then we got to get these Democrats out of office who are continuing to cause the American citizen to lose lives because they're funding this. They're giving these people money to do and commit crimes. Your thoughts, guys, while I queue up another.
Yeah, we need to pressure the DOJ to prosecute, period.
Yes.
Because it is treason. They want to give people aid and comfort. They are obstructing justice and they're aiding and abetting criminal activity, period. It needs to be 20 years, federal prison, no parole, done. Like, that's it. Like Pam Bondi, if you're listening, like, this is part of your situation now. Yes. Unfortunately, we are at a crossroads where we have members of Congress with violent rhetoric. That's not freedom of speech. The ACLU is a terrorist organization, and any other organizations are part of the No Kings event that happened on June 14th, including Walmart. They are terrorist organizations. They are actively supporting in aiding and abetting criminal activity and telling people to harm ICE. That then those are federal agents. Like, do your job.
Dre?
Yeah, and I think that we really need to turn the temperature down on the rhetoric, because who's holding these elected officials accountable? There should be a committee in Congress that says, "Hey, you're going too far on this.
No,
We're going to
we can't have Congress do it because that's the fox watching the hen house. DOJ needs to shut this down.
Right.
Yep. But that's the whole thing of it is, how are they able to continue to come out openly against the federal government? And I mean, you can actually see them. Well, anyway, let's play this clip, and so that we can see what the mayor of California is saying.
Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Homeland Security Advisor Stephen Miller. All right, Mr. Miller, ICE agents, Border Patrol agents, cops are now getting shot at. How is this happening?
It's happening because, Jesse, there's an insurrectionist movement in the Democratic Party that is inspiring domestic terrorism against ICE. When you have the mayor of Los Angeles mobilizing agitators, mobilizing the mob against ICE, saying that federal law enforcement has to leave her city, this is a settled constitutional question. Federal law is the supreme law of the land. You cannot nullify it. You cannot succeed from it. It is the law of the United States of America. So these insurrectionist Democrats are every day engaging in rhetoric that is incentivizing, that is encouraging, that is fomenting violent terrorist attacks against ICE and ICE officers. Not only in the shootings that you've seen recently, but ICE officers are being doxxed. Their families and children are being threatened. Their addresses are being posted online. They are being subjected to a campaign of terror by these radical Democrats. Why, Jesse? What is this all about? This is the central struggle in the West. The Democrat Party's objective is to flood the West with millions upon millions of illegals from the developing world, from the poor nations of the world, the failed states of the world, the collapsing states of the world, believing that in so doing, they will collapse the West. They will collapse the middle class. They will collapse the population that has lived here before the migrants came. And in so doing, they think in the rubble of that, they can rule. They can sit on top the pile of ashes. Ask yourself this: why is it that Democrats are so insistent that unlimited numbers of illegals from countries that are incapable of managing their own affairs come here? Countries like Somalia, countries like Haiti, countries that have no history of successful self-government, and they want unlimited numbers of illegals from those countries and refugees from those countries to come here with no chance at the pace, the scale, the scope of arrivals at being able to assimilate and integrate into the American way of life. What has it done to our schools? What has it done to our hospitals? What has it done to just traffic in our cities? Every issue that affects our quality of life, Jesse, public safety, drugs, crime, education, healthcare, waiting in the emergency room, are all exacerbated, worsened, and undermined by mass illegal immigration. ICE officers are heroes, and they need the support of the American people. President Trump is liberating our towns, just as he was promised, just as the American people overwhelmingly voted to give him a mandate to do just 5 months ago.
It's straight up treason, and everybody knows it, and we shouldn't be afraid to say it. Mr. Miller, you saw the video of the Maryland dad lifting weights, playing video games, playing football, as they call it down there, gardening. Would you consider gardening cruel and unusual punishment?
Well, I might personally consider it cruel and unusual punishment if I had to garden, Jesse. But
you don't
as
have a
far
green
as the Eighth
thumb,
Amendment
Miller?
is concerned, if my wife made me do gardening around the house, I might consider that to be cruel and unusual punishment. But as far as the founding fathers are concerned, as far as the Eighth Amendment is concerned, I would not say
He's playing
that gardening, outdoor sports,
There he is with a
playing
parrot.
catch, yes, and three
This is what our
robust
tax
meals a
dollars are
day
paying for,
qualifies
by
as
the
cruel and
way.
unusual.
Hold up now. This is the MS-13 gang member.
Yes, this is that dude
Yeah,
where the
thi-
congressman went down and visited him. Yes, this is the guy. This guy.
Maryland man.
And so they brought him back to the United States, and they're charging him with all the crimes that he committed while he was here. So he's going, but look how
and
he's
this is
being
the prison
treated.
he's in. This is the prison he's in.
Well, when black people go to jail, they go to solitary confinement. See the difference? They're treating him like he is some kind of hero, and he has been destroying, bringing other illegals here, bringing drugs in, child trafficking. He has done everything against this country. And the Democratic Party and the Democratic leadership made sure that he could have a place where he could go. He should be locked up. He should have shackles on his feet. He should be sitting in solitary confinement and treated like the criminal and the killer that he is. But look what our taxpayer dollars are going to, this type of rhetoric. Let's finish this off, and then we're going to talk about it.
Punishment. What is cruel and unusual punishment is being subjected to months of media lying about this illegal alien terrorist instead of defending and supporting the heroes getting these terrorists the hell out of our country. Since Inauguration Day, we have arrested, think about this, we've arrested over 100,000 criminal illegal aliens just since Inauguration Day, 100,000 fewer people to maim, threaten, terrorize, assault, rape, and murder our citizens? Has there been a greater public safety accomplishment in a shorter period of time in the whole history of the nation, Jesse? We should be celebrating this. The media instead celebrates the criminal invaders.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually mad that he's gardening. I wish he was kind of getting tortured a little bit after slapping his wife around and trafficking people all into Maryland. But
yeah, trafficking women, abusing children.
Right. It's a strange world we live in when you get to beat up women and then they hand you a spade and you get to plan a plan.
Who the left celebrates is who the left adores.
All right, Mr. Miller, great to see you. Thank you as always,
guys. Your thoughts?
I'll let you take this one, Andre.
Well, I hope that there are some more Black Americans watching this show, because I know a lot of Black people do not watch Fox News for whatever reason.
Right.
But they're not getting the truth, because I bet you that MSNBC was not playing how Abrigo Rodriguez was being treated. I bet you that ABC, none of the other networks, none of the other legacy networks were mentioning any of this. And it just burns me up, because my brother recently did some time, and he was not gardening. He was not playing with birds. He was not being treated like a human being. He was doing his hard time, and it was dangerous, and it wasn't televised. And this is how they treat people that break the laws, who are MS-13 gang members who came into the country illegally. But look at how they treat Americans. Look how they treat our people. I don't like any of this, and I'm so angry that taxpayer dollars have been used for this man's enjoyment.
Yeah, well said. The senator also, going down and fighting to get him back from El Salvador to here. I want him in the El Salvadorian prison, getting dog walked by his throat. You know what I'm saying? For what he's done. I don't want to see you doing this. It's like, really? This is what our tax dollars are paying for? And then you want to turn around and tell us oh, you Americans, you evil people, you're locking up. Really? Even the other detention centers are nice like this in New Jersey, in California, in all these, even the one in Alcatraz, they're nice inside. These people are not suffering.
And here's the
people
thing,
to understand that.
Yeah, ICE has very high standards, because they treat people I guess essentially like we're supposed to treat prisoners of war. We don't expect them to be here for a long time. So to keep our relations with the world and to keep our standards high, we're treating people better than most of the world would treat them.
Yeah.
Let me say this to all my Black brothers and sisters, to the Black families across this nation who have their kids locked up in prison. They are not treating our children like how they're treating this convicted murderer and child trafficker. Our kids Our uncles and brothers and cousins are being put in solitary confinement. They're eating food that's like garbage. They're treating them, they're being beaten, they're being killed in prison, and none of them are out here gardening, and none of them are playing with birds or catching fish with nets. None of this is happening in the prison system in the United States for our kids, whether they're guilty or not.
Right.
This guy is surely guilty of the crimes, and look how they treat them, Dre.
Right, and they're placing Americans that have done like maybe petty crimes, like if they have like a small drug violation, and they put them in with murderers, rapists, and it's just general population. Nobody cares. Could you imagine the people with the smaller crimes if they were treated like this? That might help them rehabilitate, but you're taking these rehabilitation resources and you're putting them in the hands of people who don't have any allegiance to this country.
Right. Well, what you said, it's like they're treated like criminal diplomats, right? Because they have to be sent back to another country that we have a relationship with. See, what I want is for any of these people that we have to detain, I want my money back. It's like all that money that you're sending all these other countries, that's like that standard check that you send them because they're supposed to be keeping their people over there. For anybody that we have to rehabilitate and send back up, I want my money.
That's right.
I want $1 million a head. That's what I want. See, when these other countries start losing that money because we have to take care of their unfortunate prisoners, then it'll be like, oh, okay, we'll respect you. Yeah, I need some respect going on. Because see, I want the whole thing at zero.
Right.
We're spending $10 billion to Tanzania or whatever, wherever we're sending it. I want money back. I want my money back.
This should be a wake-up call, and those who watch this show share it around, especially to the Black community. At no point in time that Black prisoners are treated in such a way that they could be out gardening and fishing and all the other stuff. This should be a slap in the face. More importantly, this is a spit in the face to the Black families across this country who are spending money, putting stuff on the books, hiring lawyers to try to find out what really happened to their kids. This is the slap in the face for the Black community that when our kids go to jail, it is all made up. They come up with all sorts of fictitious information to say that they did this and did that. It's so many of our children that's locked up that shouldn't be locked up. But this is a spit in our face that the Democrats are perpetrating because, as we saw, these illegals who are criminals who have been killing Americans, trafficking our children, bringing drugs in and doing everything, the Democratic Party got it set up to where you got to treat them like they somebody special when they're nothing but criminals and crooks.
Yeah, but they want, that's what evil has to do. It has to have you sign over to it willingly, right? And knowingly. You have to accept evil. And that is what they want people to do without even realizing it. I don't think, because they want that soft heart, right? Like, oh, look, you need to feel sorry for these people. Like, no, I can't feel sorry for somebody that committed a crime that shouldn't be here in our country. You need to stop that. But here's the great part about everything the Democratic Party is doing. They are showing everybody exactly who they are, and they cannot deny it nor hide from it anymore. We see you. We see you exactly for who you are.
Well, folks, that time is on the wall, y'all. And man, we could go forever because this is really important for the American citizens to see this. Because you're not going to see this on ABC, CNN. You're not going to see the truth. You're going to continue to see the things that they want you to see to make you think that, oh, they're not that bad. They're illegal. Keyword illegal. You broke the law to come here. You brought a lot of pain and suffering to this country. And then the Democratic Party is supporting that. No Democrat. And Jesse said it. He said it right. He said, this is treason. This is treason.
Straight up.
Pritzker should be locked up. Brandon Johnson should be locked up. The Mayor Wu in Boston should be locked up. Mayor Bass down in Galvin Newsom in California. They should be locked up. They should be charged with treason. I'm hoping and praying that Tom Homan and Pam Bundy and them start putting arrest warrants out. We don't care because they're not going to be martyrs. They think that they can talk tough and tell us, well, yeah, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're going to keep hoping that they kill ICE agents. Those mayors and governors should be locked up. They should be put in jail. They should be charged with treason.
Yeah.
And if found guilty, they should face a firing squad. Your last words, Dre.
There are no American jobs. There are no jobs that Americans won't do. Our labor participation rate is at 62.4%. So that means that many Americans are out of the job. They find themselves out of the workforce, whether they're on food stamps, whether they're incarcerated, whether they're just out of the job. And the most group of people that are driving that are people 24 and up. So it is 24 and under. So it is our younger people that are driving up these unemployment numbers. And where are those jobs going? You know, as of January to May, Americans been getting more jobs, but our participation rate is still low. So we have to put these laws in place, put these policies, fund these deportations so Americans can get back to work. There's no industry that is dominated by immigrants. None of that information is true. And I can provide those numbers if anybody wants to see them, but we have to secure our borders and put policies in place that will keep it so the next administration will not be able to turn it upside down.
Doc?
Yeah, we do. To your point, Dre, and thank you for that. We have to administratively protect our borders, right?
Yes.
Not just have a wall, but the paperwork behind it needs to say you're okay to be here legally, or if you're not here legally, you need to go back to your country of origin and you can no longer return here, right? That I think we administratively need to shut down our borders for at least 10 to 15 years. That would give us enough time to really get the workforce back in place. And I want to encourage the young people under 24 years old, go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, become the day laborers, replace those bodies because they're gone now. And our houses still need to be built. The plumbing still needs to happen. The electrician still needs to happen. And those are jobs that if you get in, you can become an apprentice and you can start your own business. It's time to get out of the mindset that we have to work for someone. They've gotten us to think that other people do these jobs. No, we do these jobs. We build America, period. Americans build America. And that's where we need to get back to, especially really encouraging our youth to work with your hands. This is why men are so frustrated because they're not working with their hands. And that is what your heart's desire is. So do that.
And not only that, to add insult to the injury, we need to hold these companies accountable for hiring these illegals. Because these companies, these companies that are hiring these illegals are aiding and abetting criminals.
That's right.
Sir.
And so President Trump, Tom Homan, them, these companies that hire these people, they should be the owners of the company who hire them. They should be locked up. They should be fined, opposed to going out training some of our young people from the age of 24 down. They're not doing that, but they're doing it for the illegals. They're training the illegals to take the jobs because they can pay them crap wages.
Yeah, that's right.
And so these companies who hire illegals, they should be also held on charges. These companies need to be fined, and then they need to make them start hiring American citizens so that they can get the tax breaks.
Yeah.
That's what this is about. Guys, I want to thank y'all, man. We got to get y'all go. You want to respond to that?
Well, I would say thank you for that because they shouldn't get a tax break. If they hire illegals, they get fined. If they hire Americans, then they get the tax break.
Amen. I want to thank y'all for coming in. We're going to get out of here, Dre. We'll be talking soon, y'all.
Yep.
I appreciate you. See you, Doc. And Dre, folks, I want to thank you for tuning in to the show. I want you to continue to watch this show and share it around. The information that we're giving out to the citizens across this country is imperative. The American people need to know the truth of what's going on in our communities. because the politicians, the Democratic Party, and the rhinos, they're not going to give us the truth. They're going to continue to spin it. They're going to continue to make you think that, oh, it's okay to have illegals here because they're working these jobs. The key word is illegal. If you came to this country wrong, you are an illegal. You're breaking federal law, and you should be locked up or deported back to your own country. These are my last words. To Tom Homan and all the rest of the Border Patrol, to ICE, we as American citizens respect the work that you're doing. We support the work that you're doing. To the American people and patriots across this country, if we don't support us securing our borders and getting all these illegals out of our country, then this country is going to fall. God bless you. I'm glad y'all tune in, share it around, and let the truth be told so we can make this country great again. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.